along with banning books about minority groups, banning critical race theory, the passing of laws that subjugate queer people, the expulsion of 2 Black representatives for using their right to peacefully protest, and the disproportionate rate of police violence towards Black and brown people. I'm here to highlight yet another clear sign that this country has never been a safe place for marginalized communities. According to a detailed report released by the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, hate crimes have seen a startling uptick in the last couple of years. According to data from the FBI, 2021 was the highest year on record for hate crimes since 1991. They have doubled since 2014, and they spike throughout election years. Hate crimes specific to white supremacy have increased substantially throughout the last 4 elections, to the point that the greatest domestic threat identified by the FBI right now to this country is white supremacist activity. Yet we're still selective on who we deem a terrorist. Crimes motivated by anti-Blackness have seen a 14% increase from 2020 to 2021. Crimes against the Jewish community have jumped 36% from 2020 to 2021. Hate crimes based on sexual orientation or gender identity have risen 54% between those 2 years. And there have been spikes in hostility and violence towards all of these communities as well. On the screen, I have included a few actions that can be taken to address this frightening trend. And if you guys want even more information, then please, I'm damn near begging you, click the link in my caption. It will be in my bio as well. I don't support attacking the elderly or rejoicing in anyone's death. Except when it comes to these 2 demonic motherfuckers right here. Let's talk about it. This is Andrew Lester, an innocent Black teenager mistakenly wound up on his porch. And how did the crypt keeper respond? By shooting him twice. Now, I knew that Andrew, being a confused and frightened elderly man, would be his primary defense, but even his own family members have confirmed that he has racist tendencies, whatever the fuck that means. And even if they hadn't, I'm so tired of Black children being robbed of their innocence because they're perceived as a threat from the moment they enter the world, so stick this old bitch in a chain gang. Thankfully, his victim, 14-year-old Ralph Yarl, survived his meeting with white supremacy, but Emmett Till did not. Which brings me to the fact that one of the Black community's biggest ops died last week, Carolyn Bryan. She died at 88, an age that Emmett will never get to reach because back in 1955, Carolyn told a lie that got him brutally murdered by these 2 animals. Now, because we live in the same America that is so foundationally racist that it once sent an innocent Black child to the electric chair, none of these 3 people ever saw a day in jail. These 2 did the world a favor and died a long time ago, but Carolyn obviously took a little longer. So I'm here to say that I hope her soul is tortured for all of eternity. I don't even much believe in hell, and I still hope she's down there getting Cajun fried like some good Louisiana cooking while the cries of that innocent child play in a continuous loop. Have a nice day.
I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna hear your sound. And mama always told me to shout and speak my mind out loud. Come on and talk when you got the time. Freedom, want you on the line. We wanna hear from you. You got it going. Let your voice shine. Platform yours is not just mine. We wanna hear from you. You got it going. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. You're gonna shine. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. You're gonna shine.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Douglas, or you could call me Freedom. Welcome back to my channel. This is season 2, episode 10 of my podcast. I've never reached this milestone on my podcast before. Lord only knows how grateful I am. I love doing these podcast episodes. Y'all already know. Per usual, before we get started, make sure that you guys like this video, comment below this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel because you need me. Forgive my background, the noise outside, and my brother. And without further ado, I think we're ready for our episode. Hey y'all, what's up? So we are in freedom of speech. I am back with I was about to say familiar face, but familiar person.
Familiar block of text.
give a virtual round of applause for Jack. You guys remember Jack from season 1. He is back again, and I am glad to have him back. Jack, introduce yourself to the people that are just now seeing you for the first time, pronouns, yada, yada.
Well, I guess they're not really seeing me, but what's up? I'm Jack. I use he, him pronouns. I go to the new school for directing, and I'm friends with Douglas, so there's that.
Her. Okay, so I wanted to first start off just by checking in with you. How is everything going with you just in life, like right now?
I'm so busy with final shit. It's just everything's due like all at once. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well. Been more social lately, which is good.
I'm glad. I'm trying to get more outside this year. That was one of the biggest goals for me, just to get more outside this year. Just with performances and with friends. Last summer and going into last summer, I had everything planned out of the millions of things that I wanted to do with friends, but everything obviously went to shit when everything happened with my mom. I was actually talking to my sister about it last night because I was telling her that a part of me is really, really excited for the summer, and something's telling me that this summer will be way better than last year's summer. But then there's still a part of me that doesn't really want to give my hopes up. So it's like, and I guess that's out of PTSD. So I'm praying for a great summer. I do want to get out. I have a whole Shein shopping cart of just like summer fits. Like I'm just ready for all the smoke this summer, just all the fun. Like I'm just ready. I'm ready.
And you'll come see my dogs again.
I'm definitely going to come and see you again. I went to Jack's house earlier this year and I had a blast, and I'm definitely coming to see you again. We're definitely going to hit up your town again for sure. Actually, speaking of being at your house, one night when we was at your house, we was watching The Game Theorist. If you guys don't know, The Game Theorist channel on YouTube, they are game theorists. They create theories surrounding popular games. I think they're known for doing a lot of FNAF covers, but we watched Poppy Playtime. We watched the theories they did on Poppy Playtime, and I'm not gonna lie, I was watching their channel like here and there last year, but when I went to your house earlier this year and we were just like binge watching that whole playlist they had dedicated to Poppy Playtime, I was so fascinated with his theories because they just make so much sense. I actually just saw his recent video that he posted a couple of weeks ago last night. And
I feel like you should give the context of your Huggy Wuggy doll.
Oh my God, we actually should we? Where the hell is Huggy Wuggy? Right here. Don't worry, we're going to get to Genshin Impact at some point. I redid like my whole game station in my room recently, and I decided to give Huggy Wuggy a nice little spot under the TV. For those who don't know, like I said before, the Game Theorist channel, it's ran by this guy and his team, and they create theories based on popular games. He's most known for his FNAF covers that he does, but he's done theories based off of a game called Poppy Playtime, which consists of a main toy character, Huggy Wuggy. Huggy Wuggy doesn't actually look like this in the actual game. He's more scarier and blue and yellow. But this is a thrift store version of Huggy Wuggy.
Like one of those random stalls by like Union Square, and I thought it was really ugly. And I was calling you, like, I called you Dougie Wuggy as a joke, and I was like, oh, you'll appreciate that.
First of all, what do you mean? Huggy Wuggy's my whole son, okay? Like, and when I saw you, this is what we did. We went to Build-A-Bear and we got a hug shirt and we put it on him because we thought it would be cute to give him something like that. I'm gonna have Huggy Wuggy sit nice and comfy right here for the rest of the podcast. Yeah, my viewers met Huggy Wuggy before. Huggy Wuggy's had a little bit of spotlight in the last few podcast episodes. Back to the Game Theorist channel. How did you come across that channel? Because my friends put me onto it. How did you kind of come across it? Because I'm not gonna lie, the channel's really interesting, and I thought we could give some light on it.
Oh my God, this is such a stupid reason. Back in high school, like one of my friend's teachers put like the game theory logo on their study guide. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe they put this here. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, well, they're fine, but they just make like weird video game theories. And I was like, huh, that's weird. Anyway, moving on. Oh my God, I don't remember what it was. There was something that like I wanted to like look up a theory about. And I like stumbled onto game theory, and I was like, oh wait, this is that channel my friend was talking about. I'm not like a huge like I watch them all the time, but occasionally I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm like drawing or something. It's nice to have in the background.
Their theories are amazing. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I actually believe that their Poppy Playtime theories are truthful. Like I don't think that they're just theories. And I'm not the type of person to really do that, but their Poppy Playtime breakdown is so precise and so everything just makes sense. Like the way they put two and two together, it's just like everything just makes sense to me personally. So
he's definitely super charismatic. Like he's very good at like making you believe whatever he says. Like the sky is
that like hysteria. Yeah, I've definitely fallen into that trap because I believe every word he says. If you guys are into weird game theories like that, please go ahead and tune into the Game Theorist channel on YouTube. The way I said it reminded me of the Disney Channel announcer. Anyway, can you hear the car?
No.
Okay, that means that Zoom is doing its part. Okay. I wanted to change gears a little bit and talk about something that I have recently seen online, well, a couple of weeks ago. But this woman, it's so weird because I always end up reading about a lot of cases like this online. But this woman got arrested for, I guess she was running a daycare center, but she got arrested for like abusing some of the kids in the daycare center. And it was like on video. And obviously, that's not okay. Like, I felt like it was something needed to bring to the podcast because I know of a lot of parents, even my cousin, like they did a lot of precise research on exactly where they even wanted to put my nephew. That wasn't even the first story that I've heard of where like kids were being abused in a daycare. Best believe if I was a parent, I would have shut that daycare the
Absolutely.
games. I don't play those games. Even when it comes to like nursing homes and stuff, like I feel like any type of abuse that you are doing to people that physically cannot help themselves, you are the bottom of my shoe, like literally. Now, I'm pretty sure that that woman was mentally disturbed to some effect. There are a lot of people that I know of that work with kids that sometimes it could be a 50-50 experience, right? They could love it, they could hate it. And what I realized was all of my friends actually works with kids in some way. Like all of my friends babysat or had jobs where they had to work with kids, including you. You worked at a summer camp. And I remember you telling me all about it. And I wanted to.
I worked at 2 summer camps, actually. One was a sleepaway camp.
Oh, okay. 2 summer camps. I thought it was only one because every time you would tell me the stories, I thought it consisted of one. But I did want you to kind of like elaborate and go into just like your experience when it came to taking care of kids. And were there times where you had to really exercise patience with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wait, I can start my kid mental health spiel. Because I had super bad anxiety as a kid. And like I'd have panic attacks like multiple times a day, and I'd have to like they'd send me to like the vice principal's office to sit because they didn't have counselors. So I feel like there's a real thing with a lot of kids don't get the recognition they need in terms of mental health stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a very specific, like, I wouldn't say stereotypical, but like this boy has ADHD and so he is being loud or can't sit still. And that's like the only really thing you see, but you never see like this kid has really bad anxiety or like this kid has a hard time focusing, but they're not like vocal about it. They just like zone out or have a hard time being organized, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So kids' mental health, super important issue to me. The recent-ish summer camp I worked at, there was a kid, super sweet, but he only had 2 siblings, and they were all kind of acting out that week. We had the same kids throughout because it was like kids whose parents couldn't really afford to send them to another summer camp, but like needed to put them somewhere.
Yeah.
So it was in a school, but so we had the same kids. And these 3 kids, their parents, I think their dad was on a business trip or something. And so this one week they just kind of started acting out. Yeah. And this one boy was like, he was a sweet kid, but
and like,
it's not even awful. It was just, he got like really caught up in like his temper tantrums a lot that week.
Okay.
And there was another kid who was also a sweet kid, but I mean, he listened to me, but he didn't listen to anyone else. And I think it's because I was nice to him. But so he was also famously did not like to listen to people, and these kids were in the same group. And so the one kid would like do something, and the other kid would tell him to stop. And then the first kid, whose dad was missing, I'm trying not to say their names,
Yeah.
like would flip out and start like yelling and crying and like hitting the wall and stuff. And we're like, well, we don't really know what to do with that because we're all like a bunch of underpaid 18, 19-year-olds. Like,
Yeah.
and again, they really were like nice kids. There was nothing that they were, they weren't like killing puppies in their free time. They just were dealing with some stuff. Also, my boss sucked.
What did you do? Like, were you able to do anything to help the kids? Like, did they do something to you, or was this something that you just like witnessed?
So, and not that we had like a good cop, bad cop routine, but like I said, my boss sucked and she was kind of mean to some of them. I don't want to say she was like the pygmy, like, but she was. And so she was like not having it, and I was trying to avoid sending them to her because she was like, well, you can just send them to me if they're causing trouble. And I was like, well, I don't think they're just causing trouble. Like, they're not just acting out. So generally I would just like pull them aside and like sit and talk to them, because this one kid, like, if you gave him like Legos or something to build or like something to draw on, like, I had a thing where I would sit and I would draw with the kids and like take drawing requests. This guy was super into Minecraft, so there's a lot of Minecraft drawings. Famously, I don't play Minecraft, so he was like trying to explain it to me, and I was like trying to figure it out. He was like, "No, this should be pointier," and I was like, "All right." But and I'm sure it doesn't work for all kids, but for these kids, like, what they really needed was just someone to like sit and listen to them and like give them like
The time
attention.
Yeah, the time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was really sad though, because this was like the second to last week, and it was these kids last week. And I had to go help out at a different school because there was like some guy got injured, someone else had COVID. So I was volunteering there. And it was these kids' last day. I heard from my coworker when I got back that they were like, this kid was like screaming, crying, and like begging to FaceTime me because he's like really upset he didn't get to say goodbye. Which was really, really sweet. I felt really bad because that's what I mean. Like, the kids just need someone to like listen to them and like take their problems seriously, even if they're not. It's just like everyone want to feel listened to.
I remember always telling my niece, like, if anything's going on, that you could always tell me. I told my niece that whenever she comes to my house, like, my room is never off limits. Like, she can always come, have a space in my room. If she ever needs to do her homework or anything, you could work at my desk. Like, I wanted to give my niece the platform that my mom gave me. There was a time when I was like in third grade where I had this constant habit of being rude to like everyone. And I remember just like, if you met me in third grade, I was a dick. Like, literally, like, I didn't physically do anything to people. I just was really fucking rude to everybody. Family, friends, classmates, teachers. Like, my mouth was off the fucking chain in third grade.
9-year-old Douglas, absolute menace.
9-year-old me, absolute menace. And to be honest, now that I'm thinking back on it, I just remember around that time, like, my bullying was increasing. I just started to really, like, everybody just started to irritate me. Like, when you just feel like everybody's just out to get you. Like, yeah. I was becoming so defensive with everyone because it was my third year of just being in school, having to interact with kids. And second grade ended poorly for me because my teacher was racist and she gave me detention for a month for no reason. And don't get me wrong, like, there were times when she gave me detention, like, looking back on it, there was some days where I deserved to like really be like, because like I said, I wasn't the best kid, I wasn't this great poster child in elementary school, but I wasn't a bad kid at all. And second grade, she picked on me a lot. And, she was just a racist son of a bitch, but we don't even got to give her no spotlight. By the time I came to third grade, I had my guards up immediately, just with anybody that came my way. And not for nothing, my classmates were picking on me at one point, but in third grade, I had my first Black teacher. And not only was she Black, but she was from my neighborhood. So there was this instant connection that I shared with my third grade teacher. Shout out to Miss Davis. I don't know if she's still teaching, but I loved her. She was patient with me. And that same patience that you just said that you offered to the kids at your job, like I would say that was the same patience she offered me. Like she was the first person during that like time period of my life that I could tell you right now, I've never disrespected or never wanted to, never planned to, never intended to. Like I really, really, really loved Miss Davis because I felt like at that specific point in my life, she was one of the main adults that was really being patient with me. She really just saw a kid that needed the time of day. And she actually made me for the entire year sit by her desk. Like if I had to work with kids and stuff during group projects, I would just move to the tables. But for the most part, I sat by her desk. So you just actually gave me a flashback.
I had a really great teacher like that too. In first and second grade, we had like a looping thing. I think they stopped doing it the year after, but
oh, you had the same teacher twice.
Yeah. So it was the same class for first grade and then second grade. And this teacher was the best. So I didn't really have a lot of friends because I was really interested in history. We had like a ton of Civil War battlefields around, so we would go to those. And it got to the point where I would like correct historians. And I was like a little 6, 7-year-old. It started when I was in like kindergarten. And they'd be like, try to explain things to me. And then I'd be like, no, actually, you're wrong. You're simplifying it. And I'm sure the underpaid college kids who worked there hated me.
Yeah, because but, you were a know-it-all. Okay, you were in your know-it-all era.
It was great. They had like a junior park ranger thing, and they'd be like, okay, you fill out this form as you go through the park, and then you get a badge. And I would sit in the gift shop where they handed them out and just fill it out when my parents were like talking. Yeah. And then I would turn it back in without leaving the place. And they're like, well, you can't do that. And I was like, but I answered the questions. It was great. I have like some cool people in that era of my life as well. But so because I was like into these things and I found them interesting, I didn't have a lot of friends. And so this teacher would let me like sit inside the classroom on Tuesdays with her at lunch and like talk about what I was reading or what I was learning. And interestingly, she introduced me to Percy Jackson because we had like a thing with different reading groups, and I was too advanced for either of the reading groups, me and this other boy, Christopher.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember his name. We weren't friends, but so she had us
shout out to Christopher.
No, so she had us read like Percy Jackson, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then there was no one to talk to about it.
I am the only biggest fan of Percy Jackson. I read him in 6th grade. Oh my God.
This was my 2nd grade life. And then like a year or two later, I got some other people to read it. And then we would play Percy Jackson on the playground. So there was that. This teacher was just great and like would give me a space to talk about the things I was interested in that like no one else would want to listen to, and like would listen to like whatever charity event I was playing. Oh yeah, I had a charity as a kid. That was a thing. It's still around. But like whatever charity event thing I was planning. And then some girls got jealous that I was having lunch inside the classroom because I don't do well with crowds. Yeah. No, I don't do well with crowds. I didn't have friends, so I didn't want to go to the cafeteria. And they got jealous. So then they were like, how come we don't get to do that? And so my teacher had to make a sign up and like allow other kids to have lunch with her, which like fine, I guess. That's fair.
They need to go. School cafeterias suck, okay? All it smelled like was armpit, sweat. Like the kids.
And it was loud. It was really loud and
very, very loud.
And you're so anxious.
And the food sucked. To be honest, like I hated school cafeterias. I'm telling you now, I feel like the only year of school where I really enjoyed and like really like loved and didn't mind the cafeterias was junior year of high school. Because I was really with all of my friends. Like my entire clique had lunch at the same time. And we were always in the corner of the cafeteria. So we found our way throughout lunch throughout that entire year. And then, but not really, because we ended up having to go to school remotely for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But I would say junior year had to be like the best year, like where I had to like be in the cafeteria, and it was still loud and stuff. Like there were times throughout junior year where I like told my friends, like, I'm going to actually, like eat lunch in a resource room, because like my high school, we had a resource room where it was quiet. You had like computers, a whole bunch of like materials if you needed to do projects. They had posters, you name it, a whole shelf dedicated to like decorating things and stuff like that, a printer that actually worked nonstop. So it was amazing to actually be in a resource room. I was in a resource room throughout most of high school.
Yeah.
So,
I was in my either creative writing classroom, or like my theater teacher let us eat in his room. Although you just reminded me about the printers. I found out about this yesterday. So the school, because, notoriously they are, anyway. So they disabled double-sided printing. So now you can only print things single-sided, and like it uses more paper. And we were like, why would they do that? Someone's like, well, because you have to pay for printing. So every time you print, you use more printing points.
That doesn't make sense to me for some reason. Wait, in our school?
Yeah.
What? Not
Yeah.
in our school. I thought you meant in your high school.
No, I mean in our school, like actively. That's why I found out about this yesterday. Guess they lost money. Right.
What you said to me just now made sense, but the actual like matter at hand doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it's such bullshit.
That doesn't make sense. So you're telling me I have to use more printer points now just to do things double-sided, or I can't do double-sided at all?
You can't do it at all. But because you have to use more pages now, it costs more printer
As if
points.
every professor and their literal grandfather doesn't ask for a lot of stuff to be print double-sided.
Yeah, so my professor yesterday tried to print our final, which is like a take-home final, double-sided, and was like, yeah, sorry, it took forever. It wouldn't let me print double-sided. And someone was like, yeah, no, you don't have that option anymore.
That's
because
crazy.
they want us to use more points. The admins basically said, shut up.
Is it a budget cut? Because that's the only reason why I can understand the school doing that.
It's not so much a budget cut as it is students have to pay more.
But printer points are free?
To a certain extent, you have like a limited number for free.
Oh, what? I still have a lot of fucking printer points, my damn self.
Lang people, or like Parsons people who have to like, that's one thing, like photography students have to print a lot of this stuff out. They're burning through them.
I don't know about you, but I definitely need to print all my music, and not to mention just for like theory and stuff. Like I always print my sheets down. Actually, I'm lying to you. Now I don't have to, because I have an iPad now with the little pen, so now I don't really need to print that much anymore.
See, Apple Pen, best thing that happened to me.
It's really the best thing that happened to me, because I'm not gonna lie, this is so handy. Hold on. This is not sponsored, by the way, but Apple really should, to be honest.
They should. No, it's so good. It's so handy. I swear by it.
I had a bootleg little Apple Pencil before. Oh, just so y'all know, Claudia is in the room, but she's not a camera girl, so she's gonna be on the side. Everybody say hi to Claudia. And Claudia, Claudia said hi.
Hi, Claudia. I'll say hi for me and the currently non-existent audience.
Claudia said hi, y'all. But this Apple Pen, first of all, shout out to my dad for giving me this, because he had one saved actually that he sent to me. But I had like a little bootleg pen that I was using before. That sucked, and I had to like charge it on its own. And yeah. Anyway, now I have an Apple Pencil, so we're lit. But yeah, this iPad is definitely coming in handy for everything. So we love that. So yeah, you're right. Apple Pencils are definitely beneficial. So now that I have that, I probably won't even have to worry about the printer situation in our school. My dad was telling me about the man that they're looking for, and that just for no reason executed like a whole family. And it really got me thinking, like, I don't know why people are just so inhumane nowadays. And I think that's kind of where I wanted to get into. Just like the fact that people are just so inhumane nowadays. It's incredible. Like, incredibly wrong. Not incredible in that sense, but incredibly wrong. One of the big things that I actually wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to talk to you about the Bud Light controversy. I don't know if you heard
This
about
was so dumb. This is so dumb.
it. And I wanted to just get your thoughts on it. For the people that don't know about the controversy, I'm not going to go too into detail. If you really want to get more details on the story, Google it. But for short terms, there's a transgender influencer by the name of Dylan Mulvaney. I guess for like March Madness, she did an Instagram reel ad promoting Bud Light, and her face is on the cans, was on the cans of a lot of the new shipments of Bud Light. And she got a lot of backlash, and is still getting a lot of backlash from conservative Americans about her face being on the Bud Light cans. And there's been a lot of destruction and a lot of madness online concerning Bud Light. And I actually just read yesterday that their sales have plummeted like more. Like the company is really going down, and I think they're like a $4.6 billion company, and their sales have been going down since this month started, which is crazy because it's Bud Light.
The shitty outrage people have gotten a lot more vocal recently. Like I like Andrew Tate's shitty little group of idiots, J.K. Rowling's feminist cult, whatever, have gotten very like loud.
Who was it?
J.K. Rowling.
What the hell is that?
Oh my god, you didn't know? Well, so she's famously a TERF, which, for anyone who doesn't know, is trans exclusionary radical feminist. It's basically like, I hate trans people, but like I'm not gonna say I hate trans people because I'm like saying that I'm just defending women. But like it's very much like I hate trans people. She's just transphobic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so she's been promoting a lot of this stuff back over across the pond in the UK. That's like, we should be blocking these bills and listening to these bills, and like this will. She's very on the train of like trans women existing like hurts women, and
yeah, everything anti-trans gets her a little jitters in a bunch, you know? Like
I guess just because of like her platform and the fact that it's controversial, people have been like, no, we like her now. We defend her, even if she says dumb shit. And like, I don't know if you heard about the whole Hogwarts Legacy stuff.
I didn't.
Okay. Also, Hogwarts game coming out. I don't know. I didn't play it. I heard some people say it was good. Some people say it was meh. A lot of trans people were like, me personally, I am boycotting it because I don't want to give her my money. Developers have already been paid, so really, she's just getting royalties. And like, I acknowledge it's a small fraction, but like, I don't want to give her the money. Okay, cool, fair. And then a lot of other people were like, you can't do that. It's just a game. It's not a big deal. And to be fair, there were some people like kind of being rude to other people for not boycotting the game. For the most part, it was like trans people or allies of trans people being like, yeah, personally, I don't want to support this. She is getting money from the video game. And
okay.
Yeah, and there's after all that, there was a trans female character named Serona Ryan.
Okay.
Which is a real name, but it sounds a lot like why would they add Sir in there? It's very, very Kingsley Shacklebolt, the only black character of her, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just kind of shitty, and a lot of people were, and it had a whole thing with like low-key implied genocide. Again, I didn't play it. I didn't, you know.
Yeah, this is my first time even really hearing about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit, but so a lot of trans people were like, me personally, I'm not buying it. And so then a lot of other idiots were like, well, if this person isn't going to buy it, I'll buy 2 copies. And it's like, okay, well, you're just radicalizing yourself at that point. Like, shut up. No one cares about you. You suck. Not at trans people, but
you were saying how it correlates into like the whole Bud Light controversy.
Yeah, I think shitty conservatives have gotten real fucking bold recently. Like I feel like we've gone from like, I don't know, the like classic like, you know, I don't care about them, but I don't want around like me or my kids, which like, ugh, but whatever, to like trans people should kill themselves and get fired from their job, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've just kind of escalated, and like, first of all, no one asked you. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say
don't
it.
say it.
Or like shit talk people in private. Like, you know, to be fair, I'm not being very nice right now. but I'm also right, so it's fine.
Yeah, it hits different when you write.
Exactly.
You're telling the truth.
I feel like you'll have gotten like a real spine for once, which is ironic for these people.
I cannot believe that a beer company is going through like a huge decline in sales because one person made a video and a picture of them is on a can of beer that still tastes the same. Like, it's just like,
yeah,
I don't understand that. Like, I don't. But my dad told me, a lot of the people of that community, a lot of conservatives drink that beer and they're not here for any type of human rights. So of course they're going to get upset that that person's face is on their cans because of what Dylan Mulvaney represents. Not for nothing, they seem to be like a really, really, really great person. Like, I actually saw their reel that they had put out, I think like a couple of days ago. In response to all the backlash. And they were just like, well, I really hope that in my alternative life, I don't, get seen as a controversial figure ever again. Because that wasn't the intention. It was a promotional ad.
I don't think trans people should have to like police their existence to make other people comfortable.
Let's talk about it. Because to me, it was so fucking uncalled for. Like, there's really nothing to really even like too much even say about the situation other than the fact that the shit is just uncalled for. Like, I don't understand what I like. It's the same beer. Like, the beer is going to taste the same regardless of who the hell is on it, how it's designed.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
They change the sodas all the time. Like, now the Sprite bottles are clear.
I'm telling you, it's special snowflake like conservatives who like need to feel oppressed and are bitching about other people existing.
They've been doing this for mad long. They've been doing the thing for us. But half of the things we used to eat, I think don't taste the same no more.
It's just
why do you think Sunny D don't taste the same? Why do you think half things you eat don't taste the same?
I never drunk Sunny D like that, to be honest.
Because the hormones and all that stuff in that, whatever's in that, change. As you know, we're running out of things, so we might have to make something.
Yeah. My point is they're changing the bottles and stuff. They're changing everything. Bud Light is not the only thing that's changing,
I don't
everything.
really care for it. I just drink it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, my friend said that Bud Light tastes like shit anyway. This is not me. This is not for me. If y'all want me to sponsor, I need the money. I'm poor. But
I come on with juice. I'm chilling. Next thing you know, I got 3.
I can't, child. It's like, to really get mad about Bud Light. If you ask me, it's not political. It's just stupid.
It's stupid. It's just not a big deal. I don't know why they're making it big.
Monster Energy. Yeah, you and my other friend, I can't even say her name, but shout out to you.
She drinking still too.
She knows exactly who she is because she watches my podcast faithfully. She drinks Monster Energy like her life's depend on it.
I was like 3. I was so like paranoid. So what happened was my friend was drinking Monster Energy almost every day, like basically almost like the beginning of the whole semester of 9th grade. Boom. What happened was she had to get a surgery.
Yes.
Because that Monster had like some type of goat in it. Like, that Monster was mixed with something else.
Goat pee?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Bon appetit.
What happened was it kind of affected something
in her stomach because she was drinking it so much.
And we ain't seen her for like mad long.
And that's like what made you stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I only drunk it when I was like depressed. Like, that was my weed. I wasn't smoking weed at that time. My OCD was becoming like an addict. So I was like, okay, I don't want to be addicted to this. Let me not. So my thing was Monster. I smoked weed every 6 months, but it was not doing it how I do it right now. So it was like Monster was like my weed.
Have you ever drunk Monster Energy?
I've like tried it because I've had friends who've had it and I was like, I'll have a sip. I don't really love energy drinks just in general. I'm not going to talk about the friend who I had who drinks it because, like I said, if you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself.
That's really the lesson. Just like, if you don't have anything nice to say, do not say it. Changing gears into the last topic of this segment, I wanted to finally shed some light on Genshin Impact. Jack is a huge fan of Genshin Impact. It's a really popular game. Briefly explain the game for everybody that don't know it, and just get into why you love it.
Oh, well, it was famously called the Breath of the Wild clone at some point. Because the mechanics are super similar, and I was a huge Breath of the Wild fan. I'm playing the sequel that comes out in like a couple weeks, so super hyped for that. But so I like that general like exploration, open world based play style. And it is a gacha game, but I've gotten super attached to some of the characters. Especially my favorite character, who is objectively the best, and I will not take criticism on that.
So you've been playing it for how long?
I've been playing it on and off for about 2.5-ish years. I started playing like around the time it released because my friends got me into it.
Yeah.
My favorite character hasn't shown up in forever. So
what is the game about?
So you and your sibling like travel through worlds, and you're like, cool, let's leave. And this god is like, no, fuck you, stay here. And you and your sibling get separated, and you're trying to find them, and you have to go through like talk to the different gods, the different regions, basically, and try to get information. And they're almost all of them are vastly unhelpful.
So is it like a story / like adventure game? I remember asking you these same questions when you were putting me onto it, when I actually met up with you when I came to your house.
Yeah, it is. It's like I said, it's open world, which means like you have the main quest, but you also have like random side quests, and there's just a lot to explore, especially the desert, which is massive. And I don't know how anyone who didn't go through it as it released could go through the desert, because it's just probably overwhelming. But
yeah,
anyway, huge map, huge world, a lot of great characters, few not so great characters.
Is it a story that does come to an end? Like, are there story modes? Are there...
It will come to an end eventually. It gets like a major update every 6 weeks.
Okay.
And so there's going to be like at least 7-8 regions, but we're only just about to get the fifth one. So it's still got a long way to go, and they add a bit more to the story, like almost every patch, and they add events with the many characters.
You have been talking about this game to me for a while. You even showed me it when I came to your house, and I told you that I was going to get on it as soon as possible.
Because I want to play with you. It'll be fun.
Of course. And actually, I was going to tell you that this week may actually be a good time for me to play it. Because, okay, like I said, I did some stuff to my game station under my TV. I got a bunch of new games, and I did download Genshin Impact. So it's on my PlayStation now. Your boy might be joining the Genshin Impact community. I know that the community does get some controversy, though.
The community is god-awful. Avoid the community. There's this one character, and his stands are notoriously really obnoxious. And like, even recently, I was like talking about how I like this one character a lot. And like they have 2 bursts, and then like 10 of this one character's fans came in and were like, well, this other character has 2 bursts, even though he doesn't. And they were like, well, what about him? And I'm like, I'm not talking about him.
Yeah.
But this one character has just really toxic fans, and you know, there's quite a few people in the community who are worth avoiding, I would say.
Okay. And we're definitely going to do the avoiding. I wanted to kind of like bring some, light to Genshin Impact. I've always been seeing you play it, even if we're not like in your home space where you would play it on your TV, like you would always have it on like your iPad or whatever. So I wanted to, give some spotlight to that game, because I'm definitely going to get on it. And who knows, I might actually make a YouTube video. I should, of just like experiencing the game and seeing how like it, seeing how I like it.
Yeah.
I did kind of want to end this podcast off with Truth Game. So we're going to get into that. Yes, you guys, we are in Freedom of Speech Part 2, and Jack and I will be playing Truth Game. And I don't think I should have to explain Truth Game. We're asking each other questions and we got to answer them. But Jack, you could start off. You could start off first.
We've talked about this a little bit, but, with your mom passing last year, I know you've told me a lot of stories about how she really like supported you and was like just a great woman. And so my question is, how are you incorporating that into your own life?
I think that the way I'm doing it is just by being happy. Like, she told me that the main thing for me to do, like on top of just being successful, finishing college, she told me most of all, she just wants me to be happy. And I remember last year, when I was in her room one day, I was laying down with her and she told me, when I pass away, like, I know you're going to be sad, but I don't want you to cry too much. You know, I want you to have fun. You know what I mean? Like, my mom knew that something was going to happen to her. So she was always giving me like, you know, like kind of like in a way I would say prepping me. So like she always gave me little like, when I don't want you sitting in this house crying 24/7. That's not what we're going to do. You're going to get outside. You're going to live your life. You're going to have fun. And you're going to do that for me. So basically because she told me. So I'm doing everything that she told me. And I think that's kind of how I'm keeping her spirit alive. I'm just living my life. I'm doing stuff for my career, this, and just like, as cheesy as it sounds, I'm really just trying to be as happy as possible. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's basically, I would say, how I'm like just keeping her spirit alive. And she was a very happy and outgoing person. So how would you describe your mental health as of right now?
Better than it's been in the past. I mean, I've been stressed. I've been stressed because, you know, finals and stuff. But I've been hanging out, like talking to people more, which is generally kind of hard for me.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're stepping out of your shell this year. And I wanted to actually give you some spotlight on because I saw you post some photos to your Instagram for at least it was my first time seeing it. So I just wanted to say shout out to you, and we need more of it. Like, we want to see your face. So, like, you know
like I said, I've been going out with my friends, and then since I've been doing things, I'm like, oh, I'll just put them on my Instagram story because I'm actually like, you know, it's not like fun to update my Instagram when I'm like sitting in bed playing video game for 4 hours. Like, no one wants to see that. But like, I figure if I'm going out, like my friends and I've been going out, like see a movie or go to like thrift shops. I was in line for 5 hours this weekend, and I made a friend on said 5-hour line.
Okay, we love that.
Yeah, my friend had a like booth at a convention. I want to go support them. Like, I've been doing stuff, and it's felt good.
We're proud of you. To be honest, I'm just glad that you're stepping out of your shell, because you definitely need it. I happen to be an extrovert and an introvert, so I know that feeling of liking to stay in your own space, but I also love getting out there. So, and if you know me, you know that. Claudia has known me since the dawn of time, so she obviously knows that.
Yeah, well, you know, I had a rough like year last year, and
yeah, you had your fair share of horrible shit happening to you as well. And I've witnessed some of it.
Yeah, so I feel like this spring has just been kind of me trying to like not necessarily move away from that, but like, you know, live for myself more.
Yeah.
I
think that's what we all trying to do nowadays. All right.
You mentioned this earlier. It wasn't one of my original questions that I had, but you mentioned it earlier, so now I want to bring it up. Because it was also something I felt a lot like at the beginning of this spring. But you mentioned for the summer that part of you was kind of like, maybe not paranoid, but just like nervous that something would happen. And I guess this isn't like a great structured question, but I kind of want to actually like dive deeper into that, you know, because it's a relatable feeling for me. So
Claudia knows because she was a part of all of the plans. But I had a whole just like list of things that I wanted to do with my friends, right? Stemming from May on. In 2 weeks, it'll make a year since my mom had to actually go to the hospital, since everything started. That specific week when everything happened to her, it was Japan Fest happening. And our friend, shout out to Nakaya, she had invited me and the entire group out to go to Japan Fest. And I remember making plans with my friend Lisa, shout out to Lisa, to spend the night at her house and just go straight to Japan Fest from her house. And I was just so excited for that week alone. And Quarantine Studio Remix, that my song that I put out, that remix was actually supposed to be recorded that week. So there was like so much stuff that I was planning on doing, and it all went to shit. Like, I woke up next to her. She was already not feeling well. I woke up and she passed out, lost oxygen, had to get rushed to the hospital, and then was immediately just put on a ventilator. So like that Wednesday, when everything happened that Wednesday morning, it was a huge break and rift in the week. And I was contemplating on whether or not I even wanted to go to Japan Fest anymore. But I ended up going to Japan Fest, but I didn't feel good the entire time I was there. And while I was there, we were being told by the doctors that she was getting worse. So it was like...
so really not a fun time.
It really wasn't a fun time. Like, it was If you ask me, it was really hot. I didn't even like the outfit I wore. Like, I didn't post no pictures from that day. Like, I just, my hair was a mess. So it was me trying to have fun because I know she told me that no matter what happens to her, to have fun. But I didn't really even start getting out there a little bit more until like a whole month later. Well, like when she was like doing semi okay, we went to the Museum of Sex. But other than that, but we were supposed to go to a water park. There was so much stuff. We were supposed to do so much stuff.
I remember she was going to drive you up to come visit me.
Yeah, and that was another thing. Like, I was supposed to also see you. My mom wanted to actually drive me to your town to see you, like, as a surprise. Like, all she needed was your address, and she was going to personally go down there with me, stay in like some hotel, like, you know, nearby or whatever, do her own thing, and just let me spend like a whole week out there with you. That was the plan, but everything happened to her. She could barely get up from a bed to stand up, let alone drive. So, you know, everything kind of just went to shit last summer. Everything that I planned on doing. And if you know me, I'm a planner. So everything that happened to her last year totally stopped me from ever wanting to plan things ever again. And now I'm just this big, now I feel like I'm Claudia, because Claudia is a very big go with the flow person. She doesn't plan to save her life. So like I started to.
I got bad anger issues. That's what I don't got.
She don't like giving her hopes up.
This is how I remain my peace. I go with the flow.
She go with the flow. She sets herself up for disappointments. I never did. I really just have to really get into the habit of taking things one day at a time. So that's what I've been doing. And that's what I'm doing for this summer. I'm just taking things one day at a time. But there is a gut feeling that the summer will be great.
Completely understand.
My second question wasn't really a structured question. Too, it was more of just like an appreciation. Like, I just wanted to say that I love the photos that you posted on your Instagram, and I just hope that we get more of them.
We'll see.
We need to see your face. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's because a lot of your family is from New York, but you spent a lot of your life in Virginia. But the part of Virginia you live at is like relatively close to DC. So what do you love about your home? And could you call New York your home in a way?
The thing about like New York is that I like being able to just go for like a couple hour long, like mental health pondering, thinking of things to write, walks, and like see shit that I just haven't seen before. There's always something happening.
Yeah.
And a completely 180. The thing I love about like back home is that it's not that. I mean, like there's still stuff to do, but I don't know. Aside from I get bored sometimes. I guess just because that's where like a lot of my friends. I have a lot of friends up here too. That's where a lot of my friends are. It's weird. I can't like list things that I really like about it, but like it still feels like home to me, you know?
Yeah, of course. You know, believe it or not, your neighborhood is actually the type of neighborhood that my mom was yearning to live in. Like, she was actually getting tired of New York. So like she needed like a quiet, chill like neighborhood. Like, my mom was actually planning on like looking at houses in Atlanta. Like, she just wanted some type of like suburban quiet. I can't. I like noise. Like, I like New York. Like, I'm a New Yorker. Like, I need to hear, you know, shit happening. Sometimes it annoys me though, especially when I have to do like stuff like this, like at home and stuff, like hearing cars honk and shit. Like, it blows my.
There's always construction happening on my street, but like, again, I like being able to do things and go places just whenever I feel like.
Yeah, there's always something to do in the city. That's the best thing about living in New York. Like, there's always somewhere to go, and it's quick to get everywhere. You don't need.
Yeah, I can walk. I don't have to drive everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is, you can't walk a whole lot of places back home.
Yeah. Like, you need a car. You know, if you're out of New York City, you need a car to get everywhere. You know?
Also, like my junior and senior year of high school, so like the times that I would have been able to drive, everything shut down because of COVID. And so like, you know, there was no learning how to drive to get my license. And like my friends didn't have their licenses at the time. Now a couple of us do, but you know, there just wasn't like a whole lot of places we could go. So we'd like sit at someone's house and play D&D for like hours at a time. And it was fun. I really enjoyed that. However, like, you know, there's only so much of a routine you can follow before it starts to feel like stale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you could at least see New York as something for you, because personally, I know that I really can't see myself living nowhere else, Loki. I can't. You can? You can? Like, okay, I can see myself living somewhere out of the neighborhood. But like, there's a part of me that still wants to, like, even when I'm famous.
Okay, not now, but eventually, yeah.
Like, I know when I'm famous, I have to have like some type of spot in like what, Hollywood, right? Okay, cool. Like, whatever. I don't care.
You know, your third mansion.
So that means I live in New York, but private New York.
Yeah, like I want to live in that type of area. Like I just can't leave New York. You know what I mean? Like I gotta be somewhere, like in the area.
Rappers that live in New York just gated New York.
Yeah, really gated New York, and I need that. I think that's what I want to do. That's what I'm planning on doing. That's where I really want to mostly reside. I'll have like a little, you know, house or whatever in Hollywood. You know, I need it.
So I could turn into some whole thing about like art and the value of art and expression. But I'm not going to because it makes me angry. How often have you walked through Union Square? And have you seen this is a lead up to it. Have you seen the circles, the chalk circles?
In Union Square?
Mm-hmm. They're the giant chalk circles and they'll say like bad luck spot.
You mean circles that we've been seeing on the streets where it's like the bad luck spot, the kissing spots. Them shits annoy the hell out of me. Do you understand?
Okay,
like
exactly.
I'm paranoid.
So I've been trying to talk about this with like my friends and everyone else also hates them. And like, we don't want to seem like we're like overly superstitious. Sorry, this is going to be a question, but I have to complain real quick. And we don't want to be like overly superstitious, but like we're all trying to avoid it because like, you know, I try not to be superstitious, but like
I'll do it down the street. Douglas like, what the fuck are you doing?
I hate them shits.
No, and I try not to act super superstitious, but like I do have OCD, and so like my brain associates things. And so the one time that it was crowded and I accidentally stepped in one was the week my grandfather died. And so like I understand they're not correlated. My brain is like, oh my god, they're
You're
correlated.
still trying to put two and two together. You're like, did me stepping in this circle cause this? Like,
And so they make me so angry, and everyone else I know also hates them. So I wanted to ask your opinion on that.
I feel like this, like, because I also feel like that question also just ties into overall superstitions, period. There are some superstitions that I believe in, and then there are some that I don't. Like the opening the umbrella in the house, I'm 50-50 on. I don't really believe in that all the way. But like hats being on the bed and dressers, like I'm one of those people where like I don't put my hats on bed and dressers because I do believe that's bad luck. Yeah, you know, or like I don't sweep, like I don't like to mistakenly sweep my feet.
Yeah.
You know, like stuff like that. Or like I don't like spilling salt on the table, like stuff like that. So there are some superstitions that I believe in, but then there are stuff that's kind of like, those spots do annoy me, but I'm also 50-50 with them as well because they were just drawn by somebody. But then in my head, I also believe in magic and shit. So it's like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, also, although they were drawn by somebody just, you know, wanting to do that, could they really be an omen for something? Like if I step into them, but if I step in the kissing spot, nobody's gonna. But nobody's gonna. If I step in the kissing spot, nobody gonna kiss me. So it's like, oh my god, you know. So it's like, but if I step in the bad luck, I'm gonna hold the bad luck spot more valuable than I would the kissing spot.
That's what I'm saying. That's
exactly.
I've seen them do like a lot of jokes. Like I've seen a fuck spot. Like nobody's going. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I would say to answer your question, I'm 50-50 on them, but they all fucking annoying because I am paranoid.
All right, yeah, me too. And I have yet to see anyone who thinks of them as art.
Yeah. They're not art in the slightest. I mean, they're annoying as I'm gonna actually combine my 4 and 5 questions because I know that you have to make a run. One, tell me your favorite food.
I like pasta. I'm a big fan of ravioli.
Is that the Italian in you?
Yeah, it is. it's a comfort food. They're the square ones in case anyone doesn't know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a comfort food. What can I say?
And what are your life goals?
Man, it's changed so much, like just over time. Because originally it was like to make an impact or not be forgotten, and then it was like just to like barely scrape by. And I think I'm kind of leaning back more towards the first one, but genuinely, I don't know, which I guess is probably a problem, but it's
not a problem at all.
I used to plan things so much that now I'm just taking things, like you said,
day by day. I feel like we're just all in that era where we're just taking things day by day at this point. Like, I mean, my life goals, and that's another thing. Like, I don't really speak about goals because it's just like, I'm a big fan of manifesting and just like, because I believe that your mouth is voodoo. So, if you speak it into existence, it's going to happen. Like, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be a big successful person. I already know. I already know how my life is like destined to be, and I already know how I, see my life going. So I'm just kind of like working to that thing,
Again, that's just more of a thing that I've been thinking about recently. So I'm curious to bring it up to you. How do you feel about aging and like just the existence of our own mortality?
It's so funny how you say that because Claudia is ageist as fuck.
I'm not ageist. I'll tell you my problem is these old people don't act like old people these days. There's rules like they think because they old, they get passes. You don't get no passes because you old. You're just old. Like that.
Well, I feel like that's the case with some of them.
Yes, some. I like old people. Like when I get old,
After saying that, go crazy, Claudia.
No. Like I thought about it like for mad long. I'm gonna be a late old person because I'm not gonna be like these old people.
Bitter old people.
Exactly. They think they have an authority. They think because they old they can do certain things. No, they don't.
Respect go both ways.
Exactly. People come across the wrong young person, they're gonna do it to them, and that's not their fault. Some people not raised on the same things they're raised.
And you feel like once you get to that age, like you're gonna be more giving to like.
Yes, I'm gonna be mad. What? I'll be mad, cool, mad, chill. Like when I do.
Yeah. Don't
do that. If you a cool old person, everybody gonna fuck with you. They gonna let you cut the line.
I did tell myself like, Freedom Savage is an alter ego. It's not. He's always gonna be a part of me. I will be Freedom Savage for life, but it's not my stage name. Obviously, I don't want to be 80 years old getting called Freedom Savage. You know what I mean? Like my stage name is Douglas for a reason. I want to be known as Douglas, because I have a million nicknames, but my stage name is Douglas for a reason. It's my real name. I want to be known as the person that I am. Freedom Savage is a musical alter ego. He's not completely who I am.
Hand effects and all.
That's all of it. So that's what I mean. Like, I mean, as far as that's concerned, that's one thing. But as far as aging as a whole, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I do. Like
I don't what I do. Like, I love, okay, this is my problem. And I feel like a lot of people my age have that problem. I love having the opportunities of an adult, but I don't like the responsibilities of an adult.
Yeah,
I want to remain a kid. Like, that's the thing.
That was me, but what is me now is more of I like to gain more in my youth. Like I told myself when I was 13, if I don't get my 2 to 3 low pairs, I'm not doing that. I get older. Why am I gonna look ugly? I'm old. Why am I doing
Yeah, you told yourself that you're gonna really take advantage of the time while you're young.
I'm learning shit just happens.
And stuff happens.
So what I'm just gonna do maybe my older times when I just get boom.
Yeah, I'm really I would say you could say I'm in my little YOLO era. Like I could say I'm in my little YOLO era because I do believe to live your life to the fullest. I mean, listen, when I'm 50, I'm still gonna be living my life like I'm 20. Like I want to be one of those cool old people too. Like I want
my grandma.
Like I just want to be like real uppity, like I want to still be fit, my plan is to still be healthy. I still want to feel strong I still want to be full of life. I still want to have this exact same energy at fucking 50, 60, 70, So that's I'm gonna be a kid for life. Like that's what I told people. Like I'm still gonna love SpongeBob. Like I actually want one of my mansions to be like SpongeBob themed. Like I'm still gonna love SpongeBob. Like I'm still gonna be. Look, I'm a big ass kid. Okay, I know that there's a time and place to be a kid. I don't play when it comes to my money, obviously. So you're not gonna get kid me then. But everything else is like, I'm a big ass kid. Like I love being a kid. Like I loved my youth. I loved my childhood. I love being an early 2000s kid. Like I love calling myself an early 2000s brat baby. Like I am
naturally.
And that's just the T on T. Can I just say thank you so much for joining this podcast? And Claudia, thank you for also coming through.
Surprise guest.
Yeah, surprise. How you say surprise guest? And she ended up, because I got to anyway. But thank you so much. And I will text you.
Of course. Okay, bye. Bye.
I wasn't expecting the episode to go the way it did, but I'm so glad that Claudia finally joined the podcast. Obviously, she's not on camera, but I'm glad that you were a part of this. I've been wanting you to be on my podcast for fucking ever now. I'm glad that you guys got to, well, y'all not seeing her, but y'all got to, get a little bit of Claudia in your life, and I'm glad. I have not been on for a while. After episode 9, I've been doing a lot of personal stuff aside from my career. So like I'm job hunting. I'm trying to look for like like, you know, like a steady job just to occupy my mind, because I've been a little lazy for the last couple of months. Like, I've been doing my thing as far as like schoolwork, stuff like that, and practicing the piano. And I'm even getting back to learning Korean, because I was learning Korean during the quarantine, but I had stopped, but now I'm back on it. Aside from that, I just want to kind of have like more structure in my life, and I want to occupy my mind to more during my day. So that's the main reason for why I'm job hunting. Also to make some fucking money, but you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I've been getting into after episode 9, but everything is falling in place as far as that is concerned now. So I'm back on my content bullshit. So you guys will be seeing more of me, especially this month and going into the summertime. So I'm excited for everything that I have in store. And obviously I have new music coming, so stay tuned for that as well. I love you guys, and I'll definitely talk to you guys soon. Bye.